Hey, welcome survivors to another show. This is part 2 of the Texas shooting. We're going to get into all of that here in a little bit. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe down below. We appreciate it very much. Thank you. Hey, John, what's the beer moment this week, brother?
We are going to try the extra fine.
Give me that one.
Yeah, because he crushed it.
I crushed that one.
It is the extra fine standard deluxe lager style beer by the Wild Heaven Beer out of Atlanta, Georgia. Actually, Avondale Estates, Georgia.
Hey, guys, doesn't this look like...
And I should
like
do this on every
sign?
show.
I love the can.
I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at an oil can. And it
Yeah,
actually says,
it does.
inspired by our friends at Standard Deluxe, Waverly, Alabama's extra fine screen, print shop, and live music venue. Okay, and there is a government warning on this beer. According to the Surgeon General, women should not drink alcoholic beverages during pregnancy because of the risk of birth defects. How many of us, our parents, drank?
My mom's Canadian.
And I'm pointing at John.
Consumption of alcoholic beverages impairs your ability to drive a car or operate machinery and may cause health problems.
Well, I always drink 12 beers and jump on the frickin' Caterpillar DA and go out and plow a field or what. I mean, don't you?
Absolutely.
I mean, come on.
Always.
Yes.
All right, listen. This beer, I don't know, man.
I'm enjoying it.
It is refreshing. I will give it that. And it is light, and it has, I think it's like almost like a grapefruit or some kind of like sour note.
There is a
to it.
sour or tart to it.
Yeah, very tart, but it's
But
it's
it's
good.
not bad.
It is
It's
good.
on the edge of a sour almost.
Yeah, but
It is.
on the good edge.
Right.
Yes.
Very good. Yeah, you're
Not like
absolutely
that
right.
German beer. What is it? The one it's Staufferhauser or something like that, and it's all grapefruit.
Yeah.
And it's like
a little rough.
2.5
Right.
alcohol. That one is very, very
Steinhausen!
All right, LT, what do you got for this one?
I'm going to give this because it's light, and I think, you know what? You could drink this mowing the yard, man, a couple of these. I'm going to give this an 8.5. I like it. I like it. It's a sour, but I like it.
Yeah. John?
Not a huge fan of sours, so I'm going to give it I was going to give it a 7.5. I'm going to increase it to a 7.7.
Okay.
Because it's not too sour.
Okay.
Right.
It is drinkable.
It is. Very,
Very
good.
drinkable.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's drinkable. There's something about it that's just a little off for me. And it says lager style, and I'm not tasting the lager.
That's the problem.
It's not that crisp,
Yeah, it's a
clear.
little off, yeah.
So I'm going to give it a 6.3.
Oh,
So,
jeez.
yeah,
He's
I mean,
always the low guy. Unless it's a freaking chocolate beer or something.
But,
Well, even that he was low.
I know,
But
right?
I bet our veterans would love this.
Our
Speaking of our veterans,
Yes.
we want to salute all of our veterans on this Memorial Day weekend. We love you guys. We all have veterans in our family, and we love you guys, and we want to remember everybody who has fallen for our freedom.
And
God
the
bless
reason
you.
we say that is because we are making this show on May 27th, 4 days after the shooting. I'm not sure when the show will be released, probably Tuesday or Wednesday of next week.
Yeah.
And we are still learning facts about what's going on.
Right.
It's
So
developing. Yep.
we're going to talk about what has been released to the public now.
At this point. Yep.
At this point. So, you know, if things have changed, please don't hold us accountable and say they don't even know what they're talking about. We're talking about the information that's available today.
Yep.
On the 27th of May. So
So this beer comes from...
Kenny's Groceries, which
Oh,
is
yes.
located at French Avenue in 1792 in Orange City. They are one of our sponsors. Thank you, Kenny's. We really appreciate it. Our second sponsor is Kristen and Tom Clem of Exit Advantage Realty. Guys, if you're ready to buy or sell a home, these are the folks that you want to do. Our host, or our guest host from last week, John, came in and he sold his house in 2 days with these folks. They are absolutely amazing. yeah, I mean, the market is crazy right now anyway, but these guys are amazing. And along with that, it's Tom Clem Investments. This guy is ready to buy or sell your home like right now. I mean, if you're ready to do a quick sale, or you have a property that maybe isn't listing right, or doesn't, is not getting the money you want or whatever, call Tom. He can work out a deal with you or something. And then CNR Constructors, which is our next sponsor, is his go-to company to turn these homes into an absolute palace. We already did a couple for Tom, and we've turned them into something that he turned around and sold within a day or two. So Tom is amazing. Give those guys a call. CNR Constructors, they are a general contractor here in Central Florida. They will take care of all of your construction needs from ground up. It doesn't matter. Just give them a call. All of their information is down below. Just look them up, the phone number, the website, everything's in there. We really appreciate it.
All right, LT, thank you very much. So we're going to, our trivia question today for our classic Surviving the Bad sticker. Which,
Ding, ding, ding. Which looks just like this.
It's smaller and more stickier.
For reference.
Yeah. So the question is, who was the Lone Ranger, like, kind of fashioned after? This is a real person that existed in the early days of the U.S.
That's a new country. U.S.
The U.S. Marshals. This was a real person who the Lone Ranger was fashioned after, designed after.
Was he a Texas Ranger?
He was a U.S. Marshal, not a Texas Ranger. U.S. Marshal.
Even better.
And this guy was a total 100% badass. Yes, sir.
My answer is Marshall Dillon.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
But was the guy from Tombstone, was he a U.S. Marshal?
I don't remember. Was he a U.S. Marshal?
Yes, he was.
Okay. All right. All right. With that being said, hey, guys, like, subscribe, give us a comment in the message. Let us know what
But how
your
can you
answer
win?
is.
How can you win?
You have to be a subscriber, so
And
subscribe.
be the first
And be the first to answer correctly
in the comments
comments
in the
section.
comments section below, and
down
you
here.
will get a. And LT, I know he sends them out like, brow. It's almost like, you know how the coyote orders.
Acme.
It's like right there,
Acme.
What is it? Catapult,
Explosives?
and it's there the next
The
day.
only problem is I use snail mail. So if you answer correctly, and I will acknowledge, and then I'll send you a comment, please send me the email to retiredcopsrule@gmail.com. If you send me that email with the correct, or I'll send you the link. But anyway, once you send me the information, your mailing address and all that, bam.
Absolutely.
Hey, by the way,
Yes.
we had one of your students win last week.
I know.
Come on, tell us about it.
So one of my students, and he had a different name, so I had no idea who it was. He came up to me and says, "Hey, Mr. Long, I answered the trivia question." I'm like, "Oh, so you're that guy?" And I'm like,
Because I had sent him an email and I said, hey, this kind of looks a little bit, is one of your students this guy's name? And he goes, no, that don't ring a bell. So that's
so he was,
awesome.
yeah, he had a different name on, and so I'm like, here you go. Here's and
That's awesome.
yeah, we follow through with our stickers. So,
Absolutely. And
With-
and by the way, hold on.
No, you're
I
good.
want to give a shout out to Jamie. Jamie is our absolute, if you have a number one listener on your podcast or whatever, Jamie is our absolute number one commenter on our show. Jamie, salute to you, my darling. You are the bomb.com. We love you. Thank you for always commenting and putting a comment out there. You are the winner of the trivia question twice. We have now voided you from winning that sticker because you already have like 4 of them.
So let me. I'm a little worried.
We love you.
We're not math teachers, apparently.
I'm a little worried because I just had a flash of the movie Misery.
Oh yeah.
So don't have a car crash around Jamie.
Right?
I'm your number one fan.
Jamie, you are awesome. Thank you very much. And for everybody else that is watching the show, please comment below, because you know what? We take your comments, we make changes to the show, we cover topics that you are interested in, we absolutely listen, and we reply, I would say within a day or less, within hours of you commenting. I know on my phone right here, I get the comments and it pops up that we have a notification. I go right in. These guys do also, and we try to comment and reply to your comments. So thank you very much for commenting.
And that's on YouTube. What other platforms are we available on?
That's a good question. So we are on Instagram. We are on
Spotify,
I think I had a little buzz.
Rumble.
Yep. So all those platforms. Very good. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah,
We are
absolutely.
trying to make 500 subscribers.
We do have a
YouTube,
Twitter account. You can like it and follow us.
Twitter.
Yeah,
Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah, John's in charge of the Twitter account. So
Facebook.
Yep. All right. With all
We're all over the damn place.
With all of them.
We
What
are
is it?
bigger.
Go
We are
ahead.
bigger than Joe Rogan.
Yes, we
What?
are 100% bigger than Joe Rogan.
What's it called? The interwebs.
The interwebs?
We are on the interwebs.
All right, with
On the
all
Facebook and on the Twitter.
with
Okay.
all of that being said,
Guys,
we're going to
let me-
I'm sorry.
hold on. Let me-
LT.
Let me give a
jeez.
damn disclaimer. This is show 2 in the same night. So we have hit quite a few of these and quite a few of these. So if we get a little bit crazy,
And Camille had some of this.
Iron Wheel.
I bought this new tonight, so just saying.
So what I'm saying is, this is show 2 in the same night. So we're feeling no
You
pain,
may have to put up with us.
but
If
that's
you're
okay.
expecting anything serious,
Yeah, well,
Yeah, we'll be serious.
unfortunately, this topic that we're going to talk about now is very serious, and it's the Texas Massacre that occurred a few days ago. And again,
At Uvalde.
at Uvalde. And again, we're talking about this on the 27th of May. Okay, so we've only had a few
4 days
days
later.
to gather info and intel and everything else. We've scanned probably 400 different media locations trying to gather what we felt was the truth. And we are going to give you our perspective from over 75 years of law enforcement experience. We're going to give you our perspective, what our policies were when we left the job, and how we possibly, in the same situation, would have handled something like this. So,
Yeah.
Camille, kick us off, brother.
So last week we left off where the shooter had just
Arrived at the school.
arrived at the school. We discussed that the school resource officer, and I totally miss this for whatever reason. Maybe I'm just a numbskull, but John saved the day on this. That the school resource officers rotate through the schools. There's not one permanently assigned to this school.
There's an actual police department for Uvalde Unified Consolidated
Yes.
District or whatever.
So
Police, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Uvalde
the school
Consolidated Independent School District has their own police department.
Right.
the
There
school
you go.
resource officer that's assigned immediately responded as soon as they heard that there was an
And he was
issue.
he was the first police officer on site.
So it's not like they were slacking off. It's not like he was off campus,
Right.
So he responded, drove past the shooter. We talked about this last time. The shooter unfortunately made it into the school through a propped open door, and I have to say a personal comment about this. So today, I don't know, middle of the school, fourth period or whatever, I walk out my back door that's
Hold on.
always locked.
By the way, in case you haven't followed the show and you're just tuning in for some reason, Camille, retired law enforcement, he is now a high school teacher. So go ahead.
The Criminal Justice Academy.
Right, in a criminal justice academy. So I leave our back door and I look over, and our school is surrounded by a fence.
Yes.
And you have to, and it's a decent sized fence, and you have to get it.
That's a good point, because you saw the fence at Uvalde. or at Robb School,
Right.
Robb Elementary
Yeah.
School, the fence was like 4 foot high.
Right. Our fence is probably a good 6 to 8 feet high. I haven't measured
6
it.
foot.
And
Okay,
it's not
probably-
it's not just a chain link fence.
It's
either.
not a chain link fence, right? So I look over, and we have a gate open, and there's nobody standing by it. I'm like,
Seriously? I mean, really?
I don't get it. So I walked over there, closed it, and I'm like, what? So anyway, and that just goes to show you can have as much security features as you want,
As long as everyone follows them.
as long as everybody follows the rules. Yes. There's people who leave doors unlocked. We have a policy on my campus, and probably your wives and your daughters lock your door. Your door must be locked at all times.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that there's probably some teachers that don't abide by that. And we're going to talk about school security in a little bit. So we left off. The shooter had made his way onto campus, had fired a lot
Blocking my
of
view.
rounds at the school,
And then made entry.
and then finally makes entry into
And he followed the rules and he unpropped the door.
He did unprop the door. Yes. So it's not really an open campus. Like my school is kind of an open campus. This seems like to be a building.
The front of it, anyway. Yeah.
So and LT is going to put a map up on the podcast. You guys see. So he goes down a hallway, and then goes to room 111, 112. Not exactly sure which, according to the.
Well, they were adjoining rooms because
Right.
there was a Jack and Jill bathroom between the two.
Yeah, it's an elementary
Right.
school, and that's pretty common.
Right.
So you could go from room 111 to 112, and then I think they also had a sliding door or sliding wall type thing.
Right.
But I do want to bring up one thing from earlier. He shot into rooms 102, 103, and 104.
Okay.
And one thing I can't tell from the picture that they used at the DPS briefing today, okay, looking at the path he took, there are windows, and that's where he was shooting into those rooms I
Right.
just talked about. And we'll talk about this a little bit later, but do we know if there are windows on rooms 111?
On the
112
backside. I
on the
don't
backside?
know. I don't know.
Because that's going to be critical as to how this was handled.
Yeah.
I think.
Totally. So he ends up going into room 111/112. Apparently, according to video that was watched and the audio, there was about 100 shots fired. I mean, he came in there with a concealed handgun, 2 rifles, and a duffel bag full of ammunition.
What is your standard magazine hold in an AR-15? 30, 30,
yeah,
right?
you can get a 10-round magazine, but pretty standard is 30.
30.
Yeah.
Right. So 30 rounds. So he changed either once or, well, he would have had to change
3 or 4
probably 3 times or 4
minimum.
times. Yeah. To get, so I mean, this guy is, boom, 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 boom. And this was a semi-automatic rifle, an AR-15. So he had to pull the trigger every time a bullet went off. So he had to change the magazine at least 3 or 4 times minimum.
Yeah,
But there was zero resistance.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So he makes his way in. This is the briefing. He makes his way into the room into school at 11:33. At 11:35, officers arrived at the school, went through the same door that the shooter went in through. 3 officers went to the class where the shooter was, and 2 officers were actually shot with grazing fire.
Right.
So they tried to engage this guy,
Right.
and he fired back.
And I do want to point out the first 3 police officers to go in, based on my understanding from the press conference, they were Uvalde PD.
Okay.
Okay,
Responding to the 911 calls.
correct.
Yeah.
Okay, but I mean, I think it's important we point out that there are multiple agencies going here,
Absolutely.
because I think what's going to happen is Uvalde PD is going to get railroaded by the media in this situation, because you have the unified Uvalde Consolidated Independent School District Police Department.
Was one of them
Isn't-
involved in this? The 3-person?
No,
He was the first guy on scene.
not that I'm aware of.
Okay. All right.
Okay, Uvalde PD
Right. Sent 3 guys in.
sent 3 guys
or
in,
people in.
and then like within that same time frame, a total of 7 people. So another team of 4 went in after that.
Yeah, and ultimately there was like 19 officers in that hallway.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
LT.
So let me bring up a good point that was brought up in one of the news flashes that came out, and that is that all of the law enforcement involved. Now, this is a retired cop or whatever that said this, and
You can't believe retired cops.
Never.
and I just wanted to reach through the TV and smack this guy and say, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. He said that all of the law enforcement officials that were on scene could change to a radio tack where they could all talk to each other. Okay, I'm not there. Maybe in Texas, this is some kind of miracle. But I'm telling you right now that in our county, yes. Could the city cops talk to the county cops? Absolutely. We had a county net channel, or we could return to another channel,
Or they could
turn to another
patch
channel,
channels.
or they could patch channels, and we could all talk to each other. Even the next county over, Orange County, which is Orlando area and all that, we could talk to them over a patch channel. But I'm telling you right now, in the state of Florida, the state agency does not have the ability, unless they have personally requested, the trooper, because it's all state troopers here in the state of Florida, had requested that a radio be put into their car that they could monitor. Sorry, too much of this. Anyway, monitor.
One left.
Yeah, I know. What? I need another one. To monitor a county net frequency where they could hear everybody. They could not hear everybody talking. So now you have the state coming in, you have the feds coming in. They're not communicating on the radio, guys. I don't care what this guy says on the news. They are not on the same radio frequency talking to each other unless the local agency gave them a radio, a portable radio, meaning, in their belt with a shoulder mic or an earpiece or whatever, and said, we're on this tack. You can talk to me now. Here's the channel you use. And that could have happened. But for this guy to get on the news and say, oh, they can just switch to a channel where everybody can talk to each other. That doesn't happen, guys. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen.
LT, on a even basicer.
You were with FDLE.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Well, let me talk to you about what we
Right.
all deal with on a more basic level. We're not thinking that way.
Right.
We're not thinking, oh, you know what? Let's
talk to each other.
Let's take a beat and change our radios. No.
We're throwing freaking vests on and we're hitting the road.
Yeah, that's way down on the priority list. So
that would be one of those command things where they have
and they would make an announcement. All right, guys, everybody switch to
or a tornado or a hurricane or something like that. Where everybody's
But even that with a tornado or a hurricane, when we actually respond, it's after the fact. And
hours.
It's like, okay, everyone, we're going to be operating on this channel.
TAC 9 Alpha or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
So guys, just take everything you hear on the news with a grain of salt. Trust me.
All these experts. And,
all these experts. A lot of these experts have not been in the trenches.
Well, and the other thing
Have
is,
not been in the shit.
No, they haven't.
but the other thing you have to remember is, this is a rural town
Absolutely.
near the border of Texas. They probably had the ability to communicate with the Border Patrol. I think they.
I would
probably
imagine
near the border.
Yes.
And near the border.
Yes.
Correct.
I would
Yeah.
imagine. Yeah, I would agree
Yeah.
with that.
But I mean, you're talking about small agencies. I mean, this unified police department, school district police department, is they had 6 or 7 people maximum.
Right. Exactly.
All right. Okay. So back on track. So we've got our shooter. He's in a classroom. He's engaging with law enforcement, firing lots of rounds, and whether it's a 223 round or a 556 round, which an AR-15 usually shoots either one of those are going through vests.
But a 223 is the standard for your basic AR-15.
Yeah. So
either way, 556 is what? More powerful.
It's a little bit, yeah.
A larger
Basically, what
bullet.
he's saying is it will penetrate a
No, I'm just saying.
standard
I'm just
ballistic
trying to
vest.
give these guys,
Yeah.
a base point.
So-
it is more powerful.
So both of those type of ammunition are going through, and we had 3 officers who engaged the shooter at the classroom, 2 of which were fired, who were hit, grazing rounds or whatever, and so if you look at the map that LT is going to point, there's a concept called the fatal funnel.
Oh my God!
And if you
Hold
look,
on, did you train that?
yes,
Did you train that?
Yes.
We train that.
yes.
Big time. Fatal funnel.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So
explain
a
what that
fatal
is.
funnel in the basic is you're going down a hallway and you have no cover, no concealment. If somebody comes out with a firearm and starts firing on you, you have no protection whatsoever. And if you look at this map, the officers who engaged have no protection. They have nothing. And from what I understand, and John, you've done some research, did the first initial responding officers have any ballistic shields?
They, as far as I understand, all they had was their standard bulletproof vests, which would not protect them from
A rifle round.
a rifle round.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Now, here's one thing I want to point out, though. Okay, you're talking about room 111, 112,
Yes.
and like you said, LT is going to be posting the picture of
the route.
school.
Yes, of the route.
Okay, here's one thing I don't understand why they didn't do. Why didn't they do a simultaneous breach? Both doors, because one of them wasn't a fatal funnel.
And they had enough cops.
Now, I don't know if they could have come up the other way.
Well, it doesn't matter which way
But
they came up.
they would still have to have gone past that first way. So, and
Oh, what you're saying is the fatal funnel is the walking up proceeding up the hallway.
Yes.
No, that's if he's in the hallway.
No,
not
if-
around the
if-
other way. They
if-
wouldn't have.
if there is another path.
Right.
My point is, and I know we're going to talk about it later, why they switched from active shooter to barricaded subject. If they made, between the 2 classrooms, made simultaneous breach, one of them was not a fatal funnel. One of them was an access in.
Right. No, the thing is, if you look at the map,
Am I correct?
Yeah. But the fatal funnel is that hallway.
it's getting
in the hallway.
It's getting
the initial hallway
So,
where
if-
he made entry.
So if I'm the bad guy, I'm standing at the door.
Right.
I'm waiting for anybody to come down and approach me. Whether it's the second door, you're not coming past me. I'm taking you out with my AR. No matter, even if you're trying to go to the second door, I'm taking you out. And you have no protection. Now,
Absolutely.
Now I don't know if there is any entrance into the north
Correct.
hallway.
And again,
or
that's why I ask, because and I am getting a little ahead of ourselves. But if there are windows on this other side, that's where you get your distraction.
Absolutely. But the problem also is these officers. Let me ask you this: did you guys have halogen tools?
We
No.
did. Some did. Some were offered. Some
I
some
didn't
did
have
carry.
Okay. Do you have anything? Because like in my classroom, I have a solid metal door. I have a solid metal frame. If you do not have a key, are you getting into my door?
No, you're not
It's
getting
a
in.
fortified door.
Yeah, you're not getting in.
So I'm approaching this door with just a vest and a key. If I don't have a key, I mean, I got nothing.
Well, here's what they did at both of our elementary schools. They put a bag in the office, and in case of this type of situation, the responding officers would grab that bag. And in that bag, there were tourniquets, first aid kits, and keys to the entire freaking school.
Right.
So once you grab that bag, you could open every single door in the freaking school. So all you had to do, and I know I'm jumping ahead because you have in your notes that they were looking for a key. Mm-hmm. They didn't prepare.
You know, the thing is, I didn't realize, because I've been out of the game for several years. I didn't realize that schools had a go kit. But the thing is, if I'm in my classroom, you're not getting close to my door because I have opening. You're not getting close to my door with a key without a shield. You are not getting close to.
What do you mean?
Because I'll take you out. Just because you have a key, you're not protected.
Yeah, but you don't have a gun in school.
No. I'm saying if I'm a bad guy, but in my classroom,
right.
But the other thing is, you have a Knox box.
A what?
A Knox box. The fire department. They more than likely, because I'm pretty sure everywhere nowadays, all buildings have a Knox box. It's usually alarmed. Okay, but it is a lock box, much like if you've ever used a real estate agent. They have the key that they.
Okay, I got you.
Okay,
I didn't
so
know the
it's
name of that. Yeah.
Well, Knox box is
If the officers don't have any type of shield, and if he's posted up at the door, are they just supposed to just come down and
Right.
commit suicide?
Right.
And attack this door?
Yep.
So I don't know what happened, but we're talking a little bit of reality here. And I challenge anybody who says, you know what? I know I'm going to die. Let me charge this door. No, nobody's going to fucking do that. Unfortunately, they did not, from what I understand, have ballistic shields to make this happen.
Well, hold on. And you say no one. I told my wife that if this situation arose, that I was going to charge into the fires of hell and take gunfire, whatever I could do, to save as many children or people that I could, and I was going to unload my weapon as fast as I could into the individual or in the individual's direction. So when you say no one is going to do that, there are a few of us that have made that decision.
And I honestly do think that, yes, when you put on that badge,
Yes, I agree with you.
you made that commitment.
Right.
And
if you haven't, you should think twice about turning in that badge.
you should turn in that badge.
Absolutely.
But the point is,
And we're not slamming you.
No, I know.
at one point there was 19 officers there.
Right. And I get the fact that there could have been somebody who says, you know what, let's lay down some suppression fire.
Right.
And approach this door.
But you got suppression fire, but then you know what? If I got to be number one in the line, just like executing a search warrant, a no-knock warrant.
Yep.
Yes, you have shields and all that stuff. I understand.
But in a no-knock warrant, nobody's actively shooting at you through the door.
But you know that they're coming. They're going to shoot at you.
Should I talk about
don't know
what
that.
we were issued now, or in a little bit?
Let's finish.
Okay, yeah.
If somebody's actively, because this guy at least shot 100 rounds, he is actively firing at officers. Officers have been hit. It is not logical to think, hey, John, run in there and unlock that door with a key with no protection.
But why do you have to unlock it if he's in the hallway?
But he's not. He's right there at the door. He's not in the hallway. He's right there at the door.
Right.
All I'm saying is,
the point is, if you have 19 officers, send all 19.
he's
not going to take all 19 out before we take him out.
You don't know. He's got a 30-round magazine, and nothing is stopping these bullets from these officers.
Correct. But if you go 3 wide,
I get all that. Logical armchair quarterback. I get that.
I understand that. All I'm saying is,
you've got a guy actively shooting down the hallway.
Active shooter, you go.
Hey guys, sign
towards
up
the
for
threat.
jumping out in front of all of these bullets.
Well, yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but when you put on that shield, that badge,
100%. I get that, but that badge, that pledge, does not mean that we have to sacrifice our life. Now,
I think it does.
I think it means I'm willing to.
I'm willing to. Yes, I get that, but I'm not running down a hallway with machine gun fire for no reason. Now,
It's not for no reason. It's to save the children.
I get that. I get that. But the logic, our brain, our lizard brain, does not act that way.
Well, you have a lizard brain. I don't have a lizard brain.
We all
does.
have the lizard brain.
Mine does.
Right. We all
I
have a
would
lizard
have grabbed 4 or 5 individuals, and I would have went down that hallway in a diamond formation, and I would have continued fire
I would have got it
with my AR-15
No.
and
Well, and
suppressive
now,
fire.
let me ask you
I will
this.
say-
Now, let me ask you this. Did all those officers at that scene have patrol rifles?
I don't know. We don't know.
So that's
You're
that's,
right.
that's
no,
that's,
I'm saying what we would have done.
And
I'm
get
not
it.
saying what
And-
they should have done.
Right.
I'm
And this-
saying what we would have done.
This was a classic example where, honestly, a shotgun would have been better.
Oh yeah, man, the spread on the
Not at all.
shotgun.
Not at all.
Boom!
An AR-15 with cover
No, no.
suppressor fire, and don't I really don't want you guys getting me wrong that I don't think
we're
that
not.
officers
We're
should not have done
No,
anything.
we're not.
I'm just
We're
saying
not.
I'm talking about a little bit of reality here.
I agree.
With if the officers did not have, and I don't know if this agency had patrol rifles. Hopefully they did.
I don't think they did. I think they only had a sidearm.
All right, I got to
and a
bring it
bullet
up now.
Okay.
It's an apropos time to bring
Okay.
it up. After Columbine,
Yes.
our agency
Yes.
went to from MP5s, which were 9 millimeters, okay, semi-automatic 9 millimeters, had a 2-round or 3
Yeah, 3 round. Yep.
3-round burst. Yeah, you
Max.
told us on it.
Yep.
Max was a 3-round.
3-round burst, which is pretty goddamn good. Okay, we went from that to AR-15s. Okay, 5.56 AR-15s.
Which was a good call.
Absolutely, and it was after the California thing where they had the bank robbery.
Well,
and
the
guys were
California is
shooting
where we got
cops,
the
right,
MP5s.
right.
And then we went, after Columbine,
So
we went to the
we
M4s.
also went to a steel plate. Now this was just a throw over your normal bulletproof vest on the outside of your uniform. It was a steel plate. I don't know if y'all can see it. I'll lean back a little bit, but it covered the entire trauma area
your vital organs.
of your chest. Okay, and there was nothing in the back. It was all in front, and it was that freaking thick. This thing weighed like, what, 12 pounds? I mean, it was heavy as
Probably
hell.
more than that.
We threw that on. We threw a ballistic helmet on. And we grabbed our patrol rifle, which is a 5.56 AR-15. And we were taught diamond formation, or if you didn't have enough for a diamond formation,
First officer
you
on scene,
entered
you
the
go in.
fucking building. Okay.
So let's talk
Excuse
about.
my language. All right.
LT,
Sorry, man. I jumped ahead.
No. Let's talk about Columbine. Columbine happened in 1999, and this was when we had an old mindset that anytime there was an active shooter or anything where the shit hit the fan more than your standard patrol officer,
You called SWAT.
called SWAT.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
what happened is the officers surrounded the school,
Secured the scene.
secured the scene, waited for SWAT team
Yep.
to enter, and while this was happening, the two scumbags were shooting students
More and more.
teachers. And after Columbine, we're like, "Oh shit, that's not a good plan.
We can't wait.
We cannot wait."
Right.
So, I imagine, I know in the 3 agencies I work for, we said no.
Right.
We gotta change that. We gotta change that shit. We got people. We're going in.
We went through training, and it was called the diamond formation.
And they modified that again.
Right.
They keep modifying it because they're like, that's
This
not
works
good
better.
enough. That's not good enough.
Right. And this works better.
Okay, and then the Parkland shooting,
Parkland, Florida.
okay, that's where, and the deputy, rightfully, the school resource officer, rightfully was shamed to hell. And
He was
the sheriff
charged.
lost
He
his
was actually
job.
charged with child abuse.
You know, where he refused to go in because that is what our job is.
Yes.
And that's what we're supposed to do. We took an oath, we put on the shield, we put on the badge. It's time to go in.
Yes.
And guys,
now,
hold on. What a lot of people don't realize, and they think that cops are just out there writing speeding tickets and whatever else. Guys, when you raise your right hand and you put your left hand on the Bible or whatever it is, and you say, I swear to defend the Constitution of the state of blah, 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 and the United States, you frickin' take an oath to stand in front of a bullet to save a civilian.
That is the blue line. That is the essence of the blue line.
Correct.
And all of the cop haters out there don't frickin' understand that. And I would, unfortunately or fortunately, whatever, I told my family, I will stand in front of a bullet coming from a maniac's gun to save Joe Blow citizen that I have never met in my entire life. Don't know if he's a scumbag, a good person, a family man, or whatever. I will save that person's life and take that bullet to save another. So, what I hope all of you realize is that every law enforcement officer that takes that oath has sworn to do that. So
Yes.
go ahead.
Now, that being said, when you are the police chief and you are swearing your officers in to possibly die for somebody else, isn't it incumbent upon you to give them equipment to survive?
Absolutely. And our chief of police, and I'm going to say his name, Chief Barry and Chief Bracknell, gave us every single piece of equipment that they could possibly give us to make sure that we came out the winners. They gave us steel plates. They gave us AR-15 rifles and all of the ammunition. I had 5 magazines of 30 rounds of armor-piercing magazine or rounds in my freaking bag that was ready to go, and it was a go bag, and we trained on it. We went to the range. We jumped out of the car. You had to grab everything, put your damn helmet on, grab your freaking big steel monster plate, and put it on. It was a pain in the ass. I sweat my freaking ass off. This asshole right here made us lay down in freaking water this freaking deep and shoot because you never know when that's going to happen. Didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And he got his ass chewed by the administration because he ruined a bunch of bulletproof vests.
Well, technically, you said we're not wearing our vests because we don't want to ruin them.
I said, guys, we're not wearing our vests and submerging them in water because, by the way, that breaks down to Kevlar. And he said, yeah, I guess you're right. But we went through everything else, so it was amazing.
So, I wish I knew what equipment these officers had.
I wish I did too. And we don't. And we
don't.
may know down the road.
We
but
will
don't.
know down the road.
As of May 27th, we don't know.
I just want to say,
Was that a timeout?
well, it's a time like, can I say something? Because I'm going to tell you something that we still have like $100 billion for schools that have not been spent from the last COVID bill.
Yeah, and we spent a crap ton of money on banks, protecting money. Why can't we spend money on fucking schools?
Take the money from the COVID bill and put it towards school security.
I got one even better, and it's going to piss some people off. We just sent
40 billion
billions of dollars
to Ukraine.
to a fucking foreign country, but yet we have people getting killed in our own elementary schools.
But
I'm sorry,
but you know what? But the problem is, we could spend $40 billion on schools. If somebody leaves a door open, it doesn't matter.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Okay, but we also have a Department of Education with law enforcement, gun carrying law enforcement. Okay, why don't we have the Department of Education say, if your standards aren't up to this, we will put someone in the schools.
Right.
Right, absolutely. And we will pay the salary of the individual that goes into that school that protects our children. I think that every school in the, and I know I'm jumping ahead, I'm sorry.
Sure.
I think that every school in the United States should have, at minimum, an armed guardian protecting that school, and that it is they are there
The entire time school is in session.
no matter what time it is. They're there, and if they can't be there, somebody's covering their ass.
So let's talk about. I mean, we
And with that being said,
So-
another beer.
yes. So the one of the major issues is, and I don't know why this. I mean, I'm trying to be as realistic as possible. At 12:15, BORTAC, which is the Border Patrol Tactical Unit, showed up with shields.
Is that like a SWAT team?
It is apparently it's the
Okay.
Border Patrol. I didn't even know.
I didn't know either.
This week.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't know either.
So they showed up at 12:15 to assist this situation. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, this is the big mystery here. It took until 12:50. So what is that?
How long?
Almost 45 minutes
Okay.
for them to actually go in to this hallway with this TAC unit and take out this.
Why?
There's the mystery. I don't know.
Here's the reason why, and I am going to name him. Okay, the Uvalde Consolidated Independent School District had their own police department, and the chief of police, Pete Arredondo, was the incident commander.
Okay.
He made the decision that it is not an active shooter situation. It is a barricaded subjects situation, which you have a different response.
You do.
Now, one of the things you have to understand is while we're waiting for BARTAC to show up, people inside these classrooms are calling 911
Yes. Horrible.
saying, he's shooting at us. You can hear gunfire on the 911 calls.
Now, did this police chief know this?
I don't know, but if you're an incident commander,
You should be
You
in
know that
yeah.
the dispatchers are relaying that information.
We're getting
you
calls.
know
we're
they
getting
are.
calls.
you should.
And I
you
hear
should have-
gunfire in the background.
You
You,
should.
know
You
that.
should have a direct line. A direct phone line.
Absolutely.
Someone should be on the phone
To the head of
with
communications.
dispatch,
Absolutely.
who is giving you everything that they're getting.
And if you don't, I'm sorry
not an
to
incident
say,
commander.
shame on you. You're not an incident
So
commander.
apparently, between 12:15, they were evacuating other students, and because it was the chief said, we're now at a barricaded subject. They were negotiating during this time instead of
Right.
making entry. Now,
And this is the same thing that happened at the Pulse shooting in Orlando, Florida.
okay.
Okay, where when it first came out, I was like, "Wow, they really screwed up here," because it was an active shooter, and it took a while for people to get in there.
Right.
Okay, but then when they put everything together, they did say, "No, he stopped shooting."
Okay.
So now it's
Right.
a barricaded hostage situation.
Right, but the difference is, and originally, like yesterday or the day before, I'm thinking, okay, maybe this guy came in to the classroom, shot everybody.
And I think that's what the chief was thinking.
Right. Okay, and it's done. It's like he can't do any more
He's
damage
contained.
now.
But he
contained.
can.
He can't.
Yes, he can.
No, what
He
he's
can
saying.
go into the classroom across from
No,
the
but
freaking
they were
hallway
connecting classroom.
and
What-
shoot them.
What he's saying is,
The officers are
making
right
the-
there.
No, I understand
he's
that, but I'm
making the
saying.
assumption that he is stuck in between classrooms 111 and 112, and he's already eliminated
But there's a
everyone else.
classroom right across the hallway.
Yeah, but the officers are covering that. He's not making it across
They
that.
would make entry.
And I hope that classroom door would be locked. So, yeah, so that's what I thought originally before I heard that there were 911 calls from the classroom. Now, were these 911 calls between 12:15 and 12:50?
I know there was at 12:03 and 12:03 and there was 12:10.
Okay, so yeah, so there's still a lot of
But
Fog
I
of
think
war.
there was one at 12:10 where it was, he's shooting at us. Please send the police now.
yeah. So yeah, unfortunately.
All right, let's go into Texas safety. What they have done, the laws they have enacted back in 2019. Let's go into that.
Yeah. So, because just to put a cap on this, we transferred from an active shooter to a barricaded subject, and that apparently seems to be why there was such
The
a
response
large,
was what it was.
right. And we'll see what happened with
Absolutely.
all of that. So, Texas safety, in 2019, the governor signed a bill that allowed schools to arm teachers,
Right.
to have metal detectors, vehicle barriers, new security doors, shooter alarm systems, all that kind of stuff. Now, I don't know how that works in Texas, where it's like, we have the signed bill, here's your money, do it. And if there are schools that do it when they do it, or it's like, you will do it by this date, or what.
So we're not sure if this school had any of that.
Or some of it, and they were
Right.
still working
Right.
on it.
Right.
I know that my school, we have the school resource officer. Last year, we enacted the guardian program, so we have both of them.
Right.
We 2 years ago,
And you're in a high school, right?
I'm in a high
Yeah.
school. 2 years ago, they put a fence around the entire school where you have to have a key to get in and all that. And this past year, we have every teacher, every administrator, everybody has it's a lanyard, and it has a button on it. If you have an issue, you hit the button. If there's there's a fight in the hallway, you hit it 3 times. If it's oh shit, you hit it as many times as you can, and there's a complete lockdown of the
Is there a
school.
GPS locator on
Yep.
that?
It's GPS. It'll tell you exactly where you're located.
you're at.
And what's nice is, let's say I'm at a training at another school.
Right.
My device will work at that other school,
Right.
anywhere in the county.
It'll locate you wherever you're at.
Yeah, so
Right.
that's nice.
That's awesome. But that's your school.
My school. Well,
That's probably countywide.
Countywide.
All counties.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But that's your school.
I don't know about
Next
Texas.
county over.
right.
Or
specifically
Texas.
Texas.
But lawmakers also approved separate measures to harden campuses.
Right.
In Texas.
Yes, they did
Metal detectors,
all that stuff.
gates, fences.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
were any
So-
of these
so let me ask you-
safety measures in place?
That's
Yeah.
a big question. I don't know. I don't know. So let's move past that. Let's talk about some real world issues, solutions. Now everybody's like, repeal the Second Amendment. Now, one thing that our governor in Florida did after Parkland is they did enact a law in Florida that you have to be 21 to buy a rifle.
Right.
I'm a big Second Amendment guy.
I have no problem with that.
I really don't.
No.
You have to be 21 to buy this.
I'm a staunch freaking Republican, okay?
Yeah.
Right winger, whatever.
So
I have no problem.
I really don't have a problem
No,
with being
I don't
21.
either.
So I could see that being
Yep.
done. One of the issues is another issue is in Florida we have red flag laws, and I was out of law enforcement before this was established. Have you guys? So essentially, a red flag law is, let's say that somebody's acting so weird and making threats and is just doing all this crazy stuff. You can make a report to law. From what I understand, law enforcement or
Let me tell you one flaw I see in the Florida.
what is the law though?
Okay, the law is basically if you can provide probable cause to a judge that this person is a threat to himself or others, that a judge can issue an order that he is now issuing a red flag warning on this person.
LT, what is this called?
I just told you the other day, and I forget now.
Risk
Risk
protection.
protection.
Thank you. Risk protection.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Again? What is it?
Risk protection order. Too many of these guys. Sorry.
So the judge can say, I am issuing a risk protection order, and therefore it will limit you're not allowed to purchase guns or ammunition, and you have to turn over any guns and ammunition.
That's right. And we would take them and turn them into evidence.
Here's the one flaw I see in Florida's law, and I don't know other states' laws. Okay, you can only apply for a risk protection order for someone who can legally purchase a weapon.
Okay. So a 16-year-old, you can't.
You can't get a risk protection order against a 16-year-old because he can't legally.
Or a person that's been Baker acted.
Or a felon.
Right.
But the problem is, okay, almost all of these school shootings are being done by 17,
18-year-olds,
17, 18, 19, 20-year-old males.
Right. Yes.
Okay, where there was something when they were 15 or 16 where they would have qualified for a risk protection order.
But being they couldn't
But since they couldn't purchase it anyway, it does not apply, so you cannot apply for a risk protection order for anyone under the age of 18, because at the age of 18 you can buy a firearm.
Oh, a rifle. You can't buy a handgun. A rifle.
Right.
Right.
So maybe we could, because I mean the Parkland shooter.
So some tweaking.
And I don't want to use his name, but the Parkland shooter, he had all sorts of stuff happen when he was under 18.
A ton of stuff. That's why
Yeah.
Sheriff Israel lost his
Right.
The governor.
But when he was under 18, but all of a sudden he turns 18. Hey, we have no problems. Go buy a gun.
Yeah.
So maybe that's one of the things we can look at. Is you get a risk protection order for anyone. Again, this is Florida, and I know Florida's law. You get the risk protection order for anyone, and they will be, and then make it, you have every 5 years you have to go apply to have it removed.
Right. And if you don't have any, so I understand that Texas did not have any red flag laws.
Probably not.
And this guy did not have a criminal history. This guy did not have any issues. So he bought the guns legally at the age of 18, which an age of 21 may have helped the situation, but he did have a handgun, wherever he got the handgun. The Texas A&M shooter shot 43 students with just a handgun. So we have, it's not just a one size fits all.
That was the Asian fellow?
Yeah. One size fits all solution for this. There's one of the biggest problems is we don't even come close to understanding mental illness.
Well, and that's the big thing is mental health issues.
Yeah.
And I don't think that this country, by any stretch of the imagination, is handling the mental health issues that we do. I mean, we used to take, when I worked for an agency in one of the counties, we used to take these guys and just drop them off and see ya. And it was like,
well, the problem is, again, and I think every state has in Florida we have the Baker Act, basically an involuntary
72 hour
intake. Type thing. Okay,
that was a good one.
And psychiatrists or psychologists, whoever is doing the evaluation, they're like, well, I don't think he's a threat right now.
Right now, right.
Okay, and back in the 80s, during the Reagan era,
I was a cop.
Okay,
1880s.
That's what.
Shut up! Shut up!
Why you hitting me? He said it.
Pass it on.
Okay. we eliminated basically almost all of the houses for the criminally insane.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
we did.
There is nothing we can
On
do.
the streets.
Yeah.
We have all these mentally challenged people.
Which I mean, kind of makes sense because it's not a crime to be crazy.
No,
Correct.
it's not.
But, you know,
And it shouldn't be.
psychiatrists and psychologists don't want to, you know, they're going to get sued. They're afraid to be sued if they say, no, this person's
Batshit crazy.
Yeah, he's going to kill someone. Right. Okay, so they go for their 72-hour evaluation. They're out after 18 hours. When the doctor says, you know, because they know
He's
no,
fine now.
I'm not really going to do anything. Okay, so you have that problem. You know, another huge thing is people are putting out on the interwebs, you know, TikTok, Facebook, all these places, they're putting out there, they're going to do this stuff. Yeah. You know, I mean, it almost be like, you know, each state should say a $10,000 reward to anyone who reports a potential school shooter.
You could probably drop that down to 1,000. People want $1,000.
And, you know, people are going to report it. This kid was having conversations.
You know, and I like you bring because that's outside the box thinking. That, you know, people who abolish the Second Amendment, conferencing, that's not their thinking. I never even thought about that, John. Where say, listen, we'll give you $1,000 if you start just showing us people who are. I'm going to shoot up a school, and you know, I think it's I love that.
I mean, and give her a reward, and you know, I mean, and just give it out.
And and in the Buffalo shooting, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah,
where a lot of people knew that this shit was going to happen.
Yeah,
and didn't report
didn't do
a
shit.
single thing or say a single word.
Yeah.
About what was going to happen, and that's in our next show, which will come out. You know,
there's some
later on in June.
real world solutions that could be done to minimize. We're not going to stop evil. There's no way we can stop evil.
All right, so we're really long into this. Here's my question to you guys: do you think, given the facts that we know as of May 27th, I'll say it again, do you think that this incident could have been stopped before it happened? I don't think so.
I think so.
Okay?
If people had, and I was reading this where apparently there was a lot of lockdowns at this school.
Okay.
And they lockdown.
So how could it have been?
Locking the door.
Okay.
Staying vigilant.
Okay.
Every teacher staying vigilant, not propping open the door.
Right.
The grandmother issue, not preventable.
No, absolutely
but
not.
maybe preventing this person from entering the school
So easily. Absolutely.
easily. If you and we all know, if you make something more difficult to do, people are going to move on.
Or they're going to have to come up with a different plan.
Right.
Absolutely.
And the problem is human error.
So the Department of whatever it is that handled the security for the school, you said it a million times. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name. It's like
Uvalde Consolidated Independent School District Police Department.
by having someone on scene at the time of this incident, could it have minimized or stopped this incident from happening? What do you think? Your thoughts?
Realistically, and I will tell you, our former deputy chief, he wasn't a big fan of one of our SROs because you know, they're playing with the kids and doing all that stuff,
Right.
full uniform and all that.
Right.
And his feeling was that SRO should be sitting at the front entrance of the school with an MP5 or an AR-15,
Stopping everybody.
just like, I'm ready to shoot. That was his mentality.
And you know what? If that would have happened here, it could have, and the door wasn't propped open, and other things
Right.
wouldn't have happened.
Now, along
it's all ifs.
Along those lines. So we have a school. There's one entrance, and we have some individuals who work at my school who, when you drive into the entrance, all they are doing is watching on their phone. They have no idea who's coming.
Right. They don't have a clue.
And it's human error.
Here's my thought, because I asked you your thought. Here's my thought. I think that at the entrance of the school, there should only be one entrance to that school.
Yes.
There should be 10-foot fences with barbed wire on the top or razor wire on the top. I'm sorry if it looks like a prison. Oh well, I'm going to keep my children safe. Every single school should have this. And at the entrance of every school, the only way to get into that school is to go through a man trap. And that is, in case y'all don't know, the banks, a lot have them.
Yep.
And I went into one and was like, what the hell?
On duty.
On duty, in uniform. And I walked in and it locked both freaking doors. And I was like, hey, hello, I'm a cop in uniform. It locks you inside of a 4-inch plexiglass freaking basically box, and you can't gain entry. And what it does is it detects any metal or anything else, and if it's above a certain threshold, it locks the freaking doors, and you can't get in. There's no way this asshole could have got in with an AR-15 and a freaking whatever else he had and walked into the school if that would have been done.
Didn't he jump over a fence? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it was a 4-footer.
Yeah. No,
Come on, I could jump over a 4-footer.
So that was the issue.
Old fat bastard. You know what I'm saying? But anyway.
Yeah.
So I think that every school in the United States should have basic security.
Yes.
And it should be a fence a certain high with razor wire on it. Listen, my wife works in elementary school, and you know what? She occasionally has individuals who are mentally challenged run. And they run, and the first thing they do is run for the fence. But, thank God, it's a 6-foot fence. It doesn't have razor wire, because it's an elementary school. It has a 6-foot fence, and they have plucked numerous individuals off this fence. So anyway, I think that instead of sending $40 billion to a foreign country to help them defend whatever, okay, I'm all for that, but
Repurpose them.
let's repurpose the money and take care of our freaking schools. All of them.
Our natural...
From elementary all the way to freaking college.
Our national treasure is our children.
Yes, it is.
Why can
I
we
mean,
not protect that?
Jesus.
And I will say, and this is part of the problem, we're focusing primarily, and hopefully it's going to change now, we're focusing on high schools and middle schools, elementary schools, because this is grades, I think, 2 through 4.
Yeah.
Well, there's not really a likelihood of a 4th grader bringing a gun to school and shooting everyone up.
No, it's the asshole that, like this guy.
Right.
This was a perfect storm. I have to think about the responders who were working that scene.
Oh my God.
And
We've all dealt with deaths of
years and years of
children.
counseling. Years of counseling. If they ever come out of it.
Yeah.
If they ever come out of it.
We've all dealt with... I've never dealt with anything this bad.
I've seen
dealt with
babies
kids,
dead.
We've dealt with children dead, and this was 30 years ago, I remember.
Dude, I cried like a baby. The first baby I saw that was dead,
Yeah.
I cried like a baby.
Yeah.
Later. Not on scene, but later.
I can't imagine the crime scene investigators.
Oh my God.
The officers who went into this scene. It's just...
And I do want to point out one thing.
Jesus.
We have talked a lot about mistakes that people have made or judgment calls that were made that we disagreed with.
And that's
things
hindsight,
like that.
right?
We're talking about
Absolutely.
hindsight.
Absolutely.
But there is one person, one person who is responsible for all of this.
Absolutely.
Okay, and that is the shooter, who we are not going to use his name. Shooter is the person who's responsible for all of this.
That's right.
People may have made mistakes,
Yes.
but he is the one who committed these crimes.
And they will correct those mistakes and make changes that make these people safer. And I'm sorry for all of the families and everybody that lost your babies and children and loved ones and everything else. My God.
And I hope these changes work nationwide.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, this has been a tough, argumentative, and I love when we debate things. This has been a
Absolutely.
great episode. Thank you for sticking with us. If you have any comments, you have any suggestions, please put that in the comments section. Please also subscribe and hit that the notification bell. We want to give you the best podcast on the world. John, you were saying we're ranked above Joe Rogan. I love that fact. That's awesome.
I said we will eventually.
I thought we were there now.
We're close.
With your help, we can be
We're close.
better than Joe Rogan.
We're waiting for that $30 million contract with Spotify.
Guys, these are 3 seasoned law enforcement officers who cared about their communities enough to do 35 years, 20
Plus 22.
plus 22 years, 20 years, and we care about each and every one of our listeners. And please, send us a
to this
comment,
day,
guys.
this day, we're still willing to lay down our lives.
We love you guys
Listen.
very much.
Absolutely.
And at Surviving the Bag.
I'm empty.
Oh!
You still got
You
your
still got
sex.
your 6. Love y'all. Thank
Love
you.
guys.